Imagine what you could do with a robot brain. You could search Google with your mind or make calls to your friend with telepathy. Reading a book or watching a movie could just be a quick download. But this causes a few problems. The biggest one being one of identity. Are you even still you with a robot brain? Before we jump into questions about identity, it might be best to look back to one of the earliest examples of its complexity. Around the year 400 and 500 BC, many ancient philosophers like Heraclitus and Plato contemplated a thought experiment known as the Ship of Theseus. The story goes something like this. After defeating the Minotaur in Crete, Theseus returned to Athens, and his ship was kept in the harbor as a memorial. Over time, planks in the ship began to decay, so they were replaced with new ones. Given enough time, every plank in the ship would be replaced by new planks. Can we say this ship, comprised of new planks, is the Ship of Theseus? This paradox has been discussed for ages, and different variations have been brought to the table. A relevant one has to do with your brain. Your brain is made up of a collection of cells called neurons. Suppose we removed one neuron from your brain and replaced it with an artificial one. We would study the removed neuron to program the artificial one and keep the real one in a flask for safekeeping. The artificial neuron would function exactly the way a real one would, so you wouldn't think or feel any differently than you would have before. Now, let's remove a cluster of neurons from your brain and replace them with artificial ones. You still feel like you, and you retain all the knowledge and memories that you had before, and the removed pieces of your brain are placed again in the flask. And lastly, with one additional surgery, we remove all the remaining neurons from your brain and replace them with artificial ones. You look around the room and feel no different. You see through the same eyes and feel things with the same hands. But now we ask, what is the real you? Is your brain in your head or in the flask? While many debate this topic, I tend to think of my sense of self is behind my eyes, because my eye's position defines my sensation of vision, my point of view. You may feel a different sense of self based on touch or hearing, but that sense would not be altered by the replacement of your neurons. But let's take this a step deeper. Suppose we could take your new artificial brain and turn the speed up. Your brain now functions at 2 times the speed. Would this make you smarter? Well, no. Your perception of the world would double in speed, making time seem like it was in slow motion. While this sounds neat, it would likely make it difficult to communicate and do simple tasks. And while it won't make you smarter, you would be able to learn at twice the speed. So a 3-year-old with this upgrade may have the same intelligence as a 6-year-old. They could have graduated college at 11 instead of 22. Having an increased mental speed would certainly make you appear smarter, wouldn't it? Now, what if we increase the size of your brain by adding more artificial neurons? That would also not make you any smarter. The knowledge we obtain has more to do with applying ourselves to study, rather than mental limitations. This is where the biggest difference between brains and computers lie. A computer can spend 100% of its time learning, without needing breaks to eat or sleep. An elementary student can spend an hour a day studying math, and by 6th grade, they will have spent 1,000 hours learning it. A computer, on the other hand, can probably simulate 1,000 hours in just 6 days, well under the 6-year time frame. But now back to you. Now that you have an artificial brain, let's take it out and put it in your basement. In place of your brain, we establish a wireless link from your body to your brain in the basement. Would your sense of self change? Probably not. You would still feel and think just the same. The source of where you think is the only thing that's changed. Your next door neighbor also got the same upgrade. What if you were to go to their basement and observe their brain? You know that they are asleep and you wonder what would happen if you turn their brain off. You click a few switches to make sure their vital functions still operate and that they won't lose their memories after shutdown. Lights out. If they were dreaming before, they aren't now that the brain is off. But if you turn the brain back on in the morning, would they even know the difference? We often wake up from sleep with no memory of dreams, so this sensation would likely be similar. But let's say something happened to the brain, a power outage. Since memory is tied to electronic signals in the brain, everything they know would be lost. But it's okay, they prepared for this. They created daily backups of their brain in case of such a catastrophe. Their system reloads their brain from 2 days before, and now they're back online. However, the memory of yesterday is now gone. To them, they have just traveled forward in time. They think it's Thursday based on everything they know and remember, but every calendar they see says it's Friday. Let's try something else. Both of you have the wireless transmitters in your heads, so let's try switching the brains. Now you control their body, and they control yours. The transition from your eyes to their eyes likely felt similar to a transition from scenes in a movie. You can tell your neighbor is 6 inches taller than you because you feel the shift in your point of view. You might notice their body is in better shape than yours, and it responds with more speed and power. Your movement is clumsy though, and the timing is off when you reach for things or try to walk. You like the idea of being in a stronger body. Suppose in this hypothetical world exist artificial robot bodies that you can purchase and use in place of your human body. You place the order and sit in the waiting room. They tell you to disable your human body while they prepare your new one. You're disabled from your body, but your brain is still on in the basement. You cannot speak, hear, feel, taste, or see. You only have the sense of thought. How long would you want to stay this way? Could you stay this way for long? You wake up in your new body. It feels like your last body, but stronger and faster than ever. Now, your consciousness exists in a form that doesn't need food, water, or sleep. Do you still feel like you? After all this change, are you even still you? And at this point, what makes you different from a robot built from the same components? What do you think? Do you think replacing your brain or body changes who you are? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching. Want to know what life among robot kind would be like? Click on this video to find out. And be sure to hit the subscribe button for updates on our progress and more videos like this one.